Hello, everyone, and welcome back to day 3 of Adobe Live and the Creative Challenge in Premiere Pro. My name is James Bonanno, and I am so excited to get everything started today and kick off Wednesday with some action in a new feature or a newer feature inside of Premiere Pro called Frame.io. So if you're joining us over on Behance, if you are Oh, my headphones are, there we go. If you're joining us on Behance, if you are on YouTube, welcome, welcome. If you're on Behance and you have any questions for me as we go through the stream, make sure to leave those in the chat. I will be going through them and we'll try to answer them for you today. If not, the link to the description underneath the video should have all of the starter files. So if you'd like to follow along with me today as we dive into how to use Frame.io and really the benefits of having a more collaborative kind of system inside of Premiere. The benefits are working professionally as a video editor. So without further ado, Annika, welcome. Kevin, welcome, gang. It's wonderful to have everyone inside of the chat. And I think let's just hop right into Premiere and get this party started. So again, as I mentioned, the starter files, I know we were having some issues on yesterday's stream, but they should be in the description and you should be able to download that zip file. They are quite large just because I've uploaded some drone footage and some higher res GoPro footage. But while you're waiting, you can follow me along here and then, watch the playback to make sure you're all caught up. So the first thing I want to do is just mention what Frame.io is for anyone that doesn't already use Frame or understand why it's important. So Frame.io, if I go into my work spaces down here on the right-hand side, I'm currently in editing or assembly. Those are usually my default settings, but you'll notice here there's a review tab. So if I click review, in the new updated version of Premiere Pro in the Creative Cloud, you'll notice that this Frame.io menu shows up. And I've already actually logged into my Frame.io account. If you have a Creative Cloud account, it's just going to automatically sign you in with that username and password. So it should be fairly easy once you're in there. And I've already auto-populated a couple projects, but we're going to show you exactly how I upload the sequence to Frame, how we leave notes on it, that sort of thing. So basically what Frame.io is it's a collaborative, it's a collaborative review space. So it's a way for you as a professional video creator to get feedback on your work. In traditional sense, Frame used to just exist as a browser outside of the Premiere Pro suite. So you'd have to export your video file just like normal, and then you would upload that video file to Frame, which I have open right here. Let me pull it up. That is my Creative Cloud. Here we go. So this is your Frame.io interface. So if I was just going to use Frame to leave notes, I could upload my video file. I could come in here, and as a reviewer, let's say I am the stakeholder or the shareholder, the client, I could just leave a review here and just say, okay, in the beginning, I want to speed this up. I want to change the duration of the clip. I want to change this clip itself. I would leave these notes inside of Frame on the browser, and then I would have to go back into Premiere. I'd have to make those changes manually, re-export another version. And it's a little more time consuming. It's a little tedious. So the beauty of the collaboration between Frame and Premiere Pro, and this is something that I'm starting to use more. So if I am kind of missing some things, anyone in the chat, please let me know. But it is a huge time saver and a storage saver as well. I do not have to now export every version and save that to my local drive or a hard drive. I can actually just upload a sequence right here in Frame, and then my client or someone reviewing it that I want feedback on can leave those notes, and I will get them in real time right here in Premiere, and I can make those changes. So that is what we are going to try to accomplish today, show you how to do it. And again, if you have any questions in the chat, please let me know as we go through hopefully what's going to look like a pretty seamless integration here. So I've already created, you'll notice in the assets, I created a IG Reel sort of Frame.io sample. So I'm just going to play this back really quickly. This is just a sample reel that I put together that we may post. And there's a couple things that I personally am wanting some feedback on. So if I play this back, I'm going to unmute myself. Cool. So that's my video. Okay. So let's say I am feeling ready to go. I want some feedback on this video. what I'm going to do here is all I'm going to do is make sure that I have an in and out point selected. I'm not even sure if you need that in and out point selected. I think what frame would do is automatically take the sequence, but I have an in and out point selected anyway. I'm going to go into my frame window here. And again, you got to make sure you're under this review tab. So if you're joining us late, that's where we are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to upload. And what I've done here, you can actually add different projects. So the default will be like demo project. It'll just show up as a demo. So there'll be something in there already. I just deleted the demo and I created my own folder. In this case, we're in the daily creative challenges folder, and I've uploaded one just in case we can't get this one to load for some reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to upload. Okay. Oh yeah, Annika, I like that you caught that transition into the water. That's my goal, trying to make sure that it was seamless, and pretty pumped on how that one turned out. Okay, so I'm going to go to upload active sequence. And now here I have the name of my sequence, which is just the name that I've already given it, a preset web 1080. Let's say you wanted to just send a 720 file, which you would never do anyway. Your internet's bad. You can do that. And you can just let the client know that it's 720. Range, whole sequence, in and out, work area, that's where you get that option. And then you just want to set where your scratch discs are being rendered to. And that's, for me, going to be right in that folder, that challenge 3 folder. So you want to make sure those scratch discs are in the same spot. And then we're just going to click upload. And now what's going to happen in the background, I've already had this open, but Media Encoder is now going to actually render. That was very, very fast, like lightning speed. Media Encoder is going to render that file so that it's ready to get encoded here into Frame as that sequence. So rather than me exporting, like I mentioned, out of Premiere Pro, uploading that file directly to Frame, I have now put that right here in Frame. And if I actually open up my Frame browser, this is where the magic may come in. We're going to go back here. You can see, let's go to our daily creative challenge. Boom. That video is now uploaded right here into our Frame.io window, which is kind of just blows my mind. So we didn't have to do anything export wise. Media Encoder did that for us in the background, which is another, powerful tool to work back and forth with Premiere. And let's imagine that now I, James, who just created this video, am also the person that's going to leave notes on this video. So I'm the client, excuse me. I am the client, and I'm going to play this back. And the great thing about Frame.io is that it's time code sensitive. So as I'm playing this video back, I'm going to leave a couple notes that I want the editor, me, to fix. And I won't have to, in a Google Doc, write out, okay, time code 0010 for 10 seconds. I'm just going to play this and leave those notes in this comment button or comment box down below, and then it will update in real time. That's a cool transition. As someone watching that back, I'm just going to mention, awesome transition, James. Very seamless. Giving myself some props. Okay. So I'm going to send that. And you'll notice that now that has come from Anna McNaught. That is my wife. And we're just inside of her Creative Cloud account right now. So that's where that name is coming from. But it would be your name if you were using your account. So let's keep playing this. I don't like the audio being included where the GoPro audio is. I think it's a little bit distracting. So I'm going to leave a note here that just says remove GoPro audio. Okay. Too distracting. All right. Save that. Now we're starting to create our notes, and you'll notice that these comments are auto-populating and appearing along the right-hand panel. I don't really know if the editor just forgot to zoom in on this, but I don't like that there's borders. So I'm going to just make a comment and say scale in footage to 100%. Don't like borders. Okay. And these are, just specific feedback notes. So if if you're an editor looking for specific notes, this is a great way to handle it, a really, really efficient way and quick and easy way for there to be that collaboration, again, without exporting large files and clogging up your hard drive space. Cool. So if I want to just leave an overall note, what I would do is leave that note not in the playhead. I might do it at the beginning or the end so that it's sort of a general note. And I might just even say general note, looks good, but let's quicken pacing, maybe different song. Okay. So those are my notes. All right, so those are the 4 notes that we are going to include. Now let's hop back into Premiere Pro. And ideally what we should see is if we go right here, I mean, I didn't even have to save Premiere. I didn't have to do anything. It's auto in real time populating the same way like G Drive and any of your Google folders would work. If I open this up, excuse me, I had some coffee before, but it's making my throat a little raspy. Okay, so if I look here, I can scroll through these. I can click this. I can just hover over it and say, oh, wow, okay. Anna had a note, general note. Looks good. Let's quicken the pacing. Great, different song. Right here, awesome transition, very seamless. Cool. Pat myself on the back. All right, and then remove GoPro audio, too distracting. I can come right into this project file and make those edits. But what I highly suggest you do, and this is just an organizational technique that I tend to use, I've brought this up in other streams, is go into our drafts. Actually, we're in a different folder. Sorry. Go into our drafts. Someone has Baby Shark as the song. That might be a little too distracting, but I like where your head's at. Whoever that was in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to go into challenge 3 and I'm going to just duplicate this. And all I'm going to do is copy it. And I'm going to call it V2. And I'm going to go back and call this V1. And again, like I cannot stress this enough. The reason I like to do this is, let's say that client decided, ooh, I actually really liked that first song after we've tried a couple different songs. I want to make sure that all those changes stay and I can still preserve them without being a destructive editor. So I just version things out, and that's the way that I like to work. So we're going to double click that, and now we're going to make all the changes that we have in Frame in version 2. All right, so let's go in here. Let's take the audio out. I might actually, rather than just remove this audio, I'm going to either disable the audio. Actually, let's make sure we unlink these. So I'm going to disable just the audio. You can either do that, or you can just pull the audio down. I disable it, tomato, tomato, whatever you choose to do. Let's save that. Okay, so number 1, taken care of. Great. All right, and then let's see our other note, remove GoPro audio. Oh, that's that note. And then this one is scale in footage to 100%. Spoiler, I left that in there so that I could do that. Okay, and what you'd probably want to do here is go into your workspaces and go back to your edit, and then just go to effects controls here, just because we don't have that set up for it. So when you're in Frame, you just have to alternate some of your workspaces a little bit to work the best for you. So we did that edit, and let's go back to our review, go back to Frame. Okay, and here we go. And you'll notice that when I click that, it actually opens up version 1 and version 2. Okay, cool. Scale and footage. So those are our 2 big notes. And the other note was the audio. So I kind of agree. I think we need a different song. I'd like to find something that actually moves the piece along, especially if it's an Instagram reel. The attention span of just people these days is horrific, and we need to keep that attention as long as possible. So removing that audio, sayonara, sucker, get out of here. I don't know who says that anymore, but I just did. So here we go. All right, so let's see what kind of audio I'm wanting to work with. And for this, I'm going to go back into my panel. Again, these workspaces, always key to just kind of move between. And because it's a reel, I actually have a workspace up here that I've created called vertical monitor editing. So I can see that reel a little bit better because it's vertical in a much larger way here. And I can just edit a little bit differently. All right, so let's close this up. Let's go to our audio over on the left-hand side. And again, any questions in the chat, please let me know. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave those comments below, and hopefully someone else can answer that question. It's a really powerful tool here. So I kind of like this track. It's a little more like Caribbean, vacation-y, beachy. And I just like the speed of it. Yeah, we're vibing over here. I like that. And I think in including this song, our client's going to be really happy. We're going to be able to edit those, cuts a little bit quicker to the music. So we're going to drag that right here back into our timeline. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because the note was quicker pacing, my thought as an editor is, okay, quicker pacing, they wanted different music. And in doing that, that music should then dictate where we actually cut this track. So I'm going to go through And I'm going to find the best moments to cut to the beats of this track. And maybe we can even include another clip or two if it seems like we need it. All right, so let me see how we're doing. Cool, love that. This is our friend Jeff, who is an incredible diver. Taught me everything I know. I don't know much about diving. I've only done it once, but the things I did learn were from Jeff. So thank you, Jeff, if you're watching. He and our good friend Maddie are called the Wandered Studio. They are amazing photographers and just incredible people. So, okay. So I think, me personally, I think the peace sign here from Sarah, another amazing just human and world traveler. I'm going to actually start with the peace sign. Cool. Because there's just more action happening there. I think there's a lot more movement. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit sooner. So remember that technique I showed you all on Monday with those shortcuts? We're going to use B, that trim that I was using in my selects, to trim that down as we're working. Okay. And I think it could even be a little quicker. Let's cut it just a little bit sooner. You can just hear, if I wanted to actually cut right on the cut, I can add little markers just by pressing M on my keyboard. Okay, and this I actually want to go faster. I want to see more of that drone shot. So I'm going to come in here, speed it up to, let's just do 200%. And we'll shorten that. Cool. I think the transition's looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. But let's cut it a little bit sooner. Again, like, these are just all tweaks that I am trying to now do for that version 2 for the client to make sure I'm addressing those notes that they had. And actually, one thing I don't love about this clip, I love the clip itself, but this clip was shot in 60 frames per second. So as the editor, I know that I have the capability of slowing this down, and I think it would look really cinematic and cool if we slowed this clip down to 40%. So I'm going to go to speed 40. That's one way you can do it. If we, that's just the easier way to do it. You can modify that footage so that it's basically slowed down that way as well. But this is just a quick and down and dirty way. Cool. I think because every other clip we have in here right now is in 24 frames and full speed, I think having something that is a little bit slower will break it up. Okay, so we're going to drag this back out. So now I have some room for maybe an additional clip. Cool. There's me learning how to scuba dive. All right, and just by doing this, we are now speeding up our cut. The pacing is a lot quicker. We're getting some time back, which is really nice because we can include a few more clips. And let's speed this clip up as well, because I do like that movement. Let's move this clip down. And I want to go right on the... Cool. So I actually have now opened this cut up to the point where if I open up our first, where we got first version, you can see this version significantly quicker than version 1. So now I'm at 8 seconds here, and I was at 11 seconds at the end of it, and I still have room to include a handful of other clips. So I'm kind of running low on time, but let me see if I could just grab, this is a really cool one. This is another shot of Maddie diving with eagle rays. We kind of have a similar clip, so let's scrap that one. This one's really cool. Very different. Let's drag this one over. That looks sweet. I'm going to remove our audio. Okay, and I want to sort of center this because right now I'm going to go back to my editing so I can adjust the effects controls. And all these things take time, but it is the beauty of video editing. It really is just so fun to see things come together. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel. Cool. So that's at 40% slowed down. Okay, another clip in there. So we're just maximizing our time right now and trying to include as many clips as we can to just maximize that impact, make sure people are watching it. Okay, and I think we can cut that even earlier. And these are just, I'm going through all the footage that I have in my folders here. Let's see what I got. This is kind of a cool clip here of a boat going right through the hotel we stayed at in Bora Bora. I think that'll look great in a 9:16 format. Sweet. I did not prepare any of that part of it. This is just fun on the fly stuff. This is kind of cool little time lapse we have here. So I'm going in, and if we weren't on a time crunch, I'd be really taking my time a little bit more. But this is usually the method of how I start editing. I really start just placing things that I think start to fall into place. And no matter what, I take a day or two to review it. I change things out. Like there's always things that continue to change. That's cool. I don't know if I like just the palm tree on its own, so I'm going to move back over here. I think that looks cooler. Sweet, kind of matches the music. And let's add maybe one more clip for good measure here. What do we got? How are we doing? We don't want to be, oh, this is nice too. This is kind of a cool, I've always liked this shot here. Very cool drone shot with like just the line of boats. Let's drag that out. And I think I want to make sure that is centered as well. So we're going to go to motion, drag this over, and I think this should be sped up a little. So Command J is my specific keyboard shortcut and hotkey. I'm going to change that to 150%. Excuse me. Cool. So that to me is starting to look a lot better. I have a button here, which is the loop playback button. So if you do not see this, you go into your button editor window and you can actually drag that down. The reason I like to put a loop playback in here is specifically for Reels, for TikTok videos, YouTube Shorts. You want something to feel like it loops so that if somebody watches it again and again, they almost feel like they're in the same video a few different times. So let's quickly play this back and then we will re-upload it for our client's final feedback. Sweet. So definitely a lot quicker paced. I think it's coming out really, really good. There's probably a few little like minor tweaks to the timing that I would suggest, maybe even sneak in a couple more clips in there. But let's say that we're feeling pretty good about this. This is going to be the final or the fine cut that we upload. So we go back to our review tab and we're just going to follow that exact same process. We're going to go in here, upload, active sequence, and it's labeled version 2. Forgive me if people know this already, but you can version on top of another video. So if I didn't rename it version 2, it might have just replaced the old version. But for the sake of time, I'm going to upload the other version. Again, in the background, it's happening as we speak. Media Encoder is flying through it, rendering that and encoding it so that we have it perfect in frame. Here is our, oh, it did it for us. Look at that. So it's actually recognizing. That's really cool. I love when I get surprised when I'm doing these demos. Sweet. Okay, cool. So now, because this is the same sequence name, you'll see that there's 2 versions. So if I click this out, I can see that there's another version and I can continue to scroll through versions, which is so, so helpful when dealing with client notes that are maybe given. Maybe there's different stakeholders, of course, that need to, weigh in on a project. It's not just one person. This is really, really helpful as an editor to receive an aggregate of notes coming from all over the place. So, I can come in here and I can leave a comment to Anna and just say, here is version 2. What are your thoughts? And I can leave that. And if I go back into frame on here and I scroll up, it's already been versioned here for me. I can look in and I can see that here's version 2. What are your thoughts is the note that I just left, and that client can now leave its notes and it can continue to go back and forth. So it just kind of blows my mind. I have to be honest, out of everything that we are going over this week, this has been one of the newest improvements to my workflow and one that I'm most excited about teaching. I'm glad everything went well today. So hopefully everyone in the chat got something and gained some additional knowledge on how that collaboration is possible using Frame.io. I know it's going to be a huge part of my workflow professionally and personally moving forward. So it's really cool to get a chance to use it today. And who knows, if you guys are on Instagram and you follow Leave the Map, which is our travel account, you may see this reel posted in the next day or two once I have enough time to address the notes left by my client, which is myself. So that's it for me today. It was a really, really quick one, but we packed a lot in on how to use Frame, how the integration works inside of Premiere Pro, and how easy it is when you have a Creative Cloud subscription. So once again, all the source files are in the description. If you're on YouTube, Behance, wherever you are watching this video, they should be there. Download them, follow along, enjoy the process of creating your own video. Don't just stick to what I did, throw your own music in. But please, if you do share it, make sure to provide credit and do not, post it without me knowing. So that's it for me. Thank you everyone for watching. And again, make sure to stay tuned tomorrow and Friday for the 4th and 5th day of the Creative Challenge at the same time. So that's it for me, guys. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.